Hello everyone, my name is Gabriela, and today me and Leonela will be talking to you about the Ni Una Menos movement. What is the Ni Una Menos movement? This is a movement that emerged in South America, more specifically in Argentina in 2015. Ni Una Menos translates from Spanish to English as not one less. This movement was created based on the discontent of society in relation to violence and machismo in Argentina. It was a response to the high levels of gender-based violence and femicides happening in the country. What is femicide? I decided to put here a dictionary definition, which possibly would be the definition that most people end up reading or listening to, even though I don't believe this is the best definition. According to Cambridge Dictionary, femicide is the crime of killing a woman or women, occasioned when it happens. Going a little bit back in time, the term femicide actually became to get popular in the 70s. The South African feminist activist Dr. Diana Russell is considered to be the pioneer using this term. She used the term under the First International Tribunal on Crimes Against Women in Brussels, Belgium, in 1976. Also, she defines femicide as the killing of females by males because they're females, which I think is a more complete definition. In the year of 2014, according to non-official statistics, and I say non-official because in Argentina there was no official statistics about femicides and gender-based violence, there were at least 277 cases of femicides. The percentage of femicides being 1 every 30 hours. Following the brutal murder of a 19-year-old girl, Diana Garcia, a group of women, writers, journalists, activists, and artists gathered in the Boris Spivakov Square in Buenos Aires in 2015 to discuss and make visible the problematic of the femicide. One of the founders of the movement is Marta Dion, an Argentinian journalist and feminist activist, who said on an interview conducted by Monica Yarneque for the news website Agência Brasil that we are against a patriarchal system which subjugates women not only with violence, but also paying less for the same work. Women work on average 3 hours more than men, if we count the time they dedicate to housework and family, and they earn 27% less. That is, if we do the calculations and compare, we work 5 hours a day without any remuneration. There was one specific case that got people's attention. It was the murder of a young girl named Chiara Paes. But before going into details of the Chiara Paes case, I would like to share a quote I found during my research. It was written originally in Spanish, and the translation might make it a little bit confusing. But I found this quote touching and relevant to mention. There are criminals who proclaim without batting an eyelid, "I killed her because she was mine," just like that, as if it were a matter of common sense and justice and a right of private property that makes a man the owner of a woman. But no one, not even the most macho of the super machos, has the courage to confess, "I killed her out of fear." After all, the woman's fear of the man's violence, it's a mirror of the man's fear of a woman without fear. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the sad story of a young girl that lost her life due to gender-based violence. Kiara Pais was 14 years old. She was pregnant when she was brutally murdered by her boyfriend, Manuel Mancias, 16 years old. Kiara disappeared on May 9, 2015. The inhabitants of her city, Rufino, felt very moved, and around 20,000 people went searching for her. In the night of May 10, Kiara's body was found buried in Manuel's grandparents' backyard. Kiara was beaten to death by her boyfriend, who before killing her, forced her to take a medicine to stop her pregnancy. Manuel Mancias confessed the crime. Even though this case is not more important than any other, this horrible crime is considered to be the catalyst of the Una Menos protests. The success and fame of this movement is closely related to the use of internet and social media as a strategy of political mobilization. The use of the hashtag Una Menos on social media helped to spread a message. The movement, which started in Buenos Aires, due to the use of social media, reached national repercussion. Later on, the Una Menos ideals would reach many other countries, such as Chile, Uruguay, Peru, Mexico, etc. Andrea Lescano, mother of Micaela Garcia, a Una Menos activist who was murdered in 2017, affirms that in 2020 we can see changes. She told the newspaper The Guardian that after Micaela's death, Argentina passed a law requiring all government workers to undergo gender sensitivity training. She also said, "It's not that there is more violence, it's that now you're seeing it and you're naming it." In 2020, members of Una Menos will not be able to go on the streets to protest due to coronavirus lockdowns that are still happening in South America. However, the movement has many activities planned, and those can be checked in the Una Menos official website. I'll leave the link here for you guys, and I would really recommend you to take a look. Thank you very much for listening.
This year, 2020, marks the 5th anniversary of the first activist march of the feminist movement Ni Una Menos in Argentina. It can be said that since this movement began, it motivated and encouraged many women from all Latin American countries to take the streets and in activist way fight for the end of violence against women in all aspects. Let's talk about Ni Una Menos and feminism for the 99%. Ni Una Menos was one of the motivations for the project of feminism for the 99%, which is a manifesto written by Cynthia Arusa, Nancy Fraser, and Titi Bhattacharya, who were also the organizers of the International Women's Strike on March 8, 2017. In 2019, they published a Feminism for the 99% manifesto, where they made significant reference to the new way that will move women activism. Ni Una Menos, the movement that was born against gender violence and feminicide in Latin America, marked the beginning of this new way, causing a global impact. Feminism for the 99% challenged liberal feminism, better known as a leaning feminism, since this feminism failed the vast majority of women around the world. Feminism for the 99% seeks a profound social transformation and the end of the inequality and discrimination that liberal feminism maintains. Feminism for the 99% also criticized and challenged capitalism and neoliberalism, arguing that capitalism caused tremendous inequality of gender, social, political, and economical. The main focus of Ni Una Menos is fighting against gender violations, sexual violence, and feminicides. Worldwide, 1 in 3 women has suffered any type of violence, and Latin America is the second region in the world with the highest rate of feminicide, and most countries in Latin America are capitalist. Ni Una Menos is still fighting to achieve significant social, economy, and political change in Latin America, and to end the macho ideas on which Latino governments are based on. Ni Una Menos defends and fights for the same ideas that Feminism for the 99% manifest. Both movements seek a total social transformation, gender equality, justice, and fight against discrimination and racism. Both focus and fight for all women in the world, of different races, religions, cultures, and different social classes, and LGBTQ women. That's it, both movements are based on intersectionality. Ni Una Menos is also connected to the colonial feminism. But first, let's start talking about colonization and coloniality in Latin America. Latin American countries were colonized by Spain and Portugal long ago. Today there is no colonization, but it can be said that coloniality still exists. According to Quijano, the coloniality of power refers to the system of dominance of power that is established and maintained over the indigenous culture of America subjected by the European colonizers. That means that these ideas that were taught and adapted during the colonization are still present today, such as racist and patriarchal ideas that cause the oppression of women. Maria Lugones, an Argentinian philosopher and activist, says that gender violence and inequality, like other inequalities, grew up of the legacy of colonialism. In the Andes of Latin America, violence against women is viewed as a romanticized or passional crime. Maria Lugones says that this belief is due to the fact that the policies of miscegenation introduce new hierarchical, complex, and rigid racial categories and macho ideas that persist in Latin American culture today. Maria Lugones says that there must be resistance against the capitalist world, face the hierarchical distinctions between men and women that exist from colonization. She says that resistance to gender coloniality is a beginning, a possibility to change things, to end the oppression of women and discrimination, a liberation from a racialized, colonial, and capitalist heterosexual society. Ni Una Menos fights for all Latin American women, for indigenous women, for Afro-Latino women, seeks to tell the stories of those who have not been here and those who are no longer here today because they were silenced. Ni Una Menos, together with decoloniality feminism, want to tell what happens within Latin America, a story that has become invisible over time. Invisibility that has been linked to the process of colonization and historical coloniality.